started to get suspicious when I saw my parents and some former players here tonight. And I thought for a while I'd have a chance of making through this without breaking down, but that speech by Jack pretty much ended that. What an honor and a blessing for me tonight to get this award and just see so many friends and loved ones out there. I guess this is my Jim Valvano moment for those old enough to remember that. Jack, Grace, Gage, check out your old man. No, not too bad. Huh? Definitely want to thank the Colsons, Amy and Keith. They're unbelievable to work with, so accommodating. Being in youth sports for a while, working with different administrators in different leagues. These guys are the best, and the reason they're the best, and it came out tonight earlier, was they make it about the kids. They get that, they get it, and they get that different kids need different things out of their program, and so thank you guys for all you do. It's a great organization that you have made. Looking at the list of the other coaches who are nominated, there are a lot of unbelievable coaches, a handful of which I've got to know over the years, and certainly every bit as deserving as me, so congratulations to you guys. Probably just your luck, right? The year you get nominated, you got to go up against some dude with cancer. But, I'm sure this will not be the last time that you are nominated for that. I don't know why, but as I was listening, a story that came to mind was not too long ago, we were playing in a tournament, and the coach of the other team was a former major leaguer. And so, as they always do before the game, the umps bring the coaches together at home plate for the all-important meeting. And the coach and the umpires were in awe of this other coach. So they said, "Coach," turning to him, "tell us again, who'd you play for?" And he says, "Oh," and he rattles off a half dozen major league teams and points out the ones that he won division championships with. And then I think they kind of remembered that I was there. And there's this moment of awkward silence, and so they turn to me and they say, "How about you, Coach? Did you ever play for anybody?" Me? No hair, withered hand, right? And I said, but I didn't want to let the opportunity go, so I said, "Yeah, Troy, Michigan Little League, HCCBS Insurance, 1985 division champion." But then an interesting thing happened. Interesting thing happened in the third inning about of that game. That other coach, he was ejected by those umps. He was mad that they weren't, not making this up, they weren't showing him enough respect, he said, as he ran out there to argue as a safer out call. And then probably predictably, once he was kicked out, their team was done. And we were able to go on and win that game. And the reason I believe is because kids, at least up to this age, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And kind of knowing, I think, that we stayed together as a group was real important for us in that story. There are some great players here tonight, some of which I know and some of which I've just seen. But statistically, it's a fact that the chances of any of these kids going on to be major league players is pretty small. But it's also statistically a fact that the chances of these kids growing up to be dads someday are pretty high. And so I've always tried to kind of coach them with that in mind, some moments more successfully than others. Coaches, if any of you have daughters, or if you happen to know someone who has a daughter, you may be coaching their future husband. And I think that's certainly something in perspective that I've tried to keep in mind. Their future college scholarship isn't hanging in the balance of their next at-bat. But we only get them for so long at ages that they'll be willing to be impressionable to us. And so I think it's really important that we take advantage of that every opportunity that we can get. Don't get me wrong, I'm as competitive as the next guy, and I probably spend more time on baseball than I should admit. But again, I want to seize upon the moments that I have with these young men, because they're not going to be around and they're not going to be willing to listen forever. So, as Carol kind of mentioned, and as did Jack, 2 years ago I got some not so great news out of the blue. I got up one morning, went to work, had a normal day, and then before I got home I found out that some test results that were supposed to be routine ended up with some not so routine news. So since that time I've been through chemotherapy and radiation and surgery and all that. And I'm not asking for sympathy. I certainly will accept any prayers that you guys might have. And myself and my family, loved ones, we've spent a lot of time praying for God to change my circumstances, but I've come to realize that maybe God is waiting for my circumstances to change me and those people around me. And I think the baseball team has provided me with that opportunity. Three things have really kind of sustained me over the past couple of years. And I guess I'll mention them in random order. In this context, certainly the baseball team has done that. The baseball families have become like our family. Those players over there, I love them all and would do anything for them. Baseball's been a great distraction. It's provided me with yet another opportunity to be needed and a great thing to focus on. I think the first, as Jack mentioned, a couple of these guys they're now on their 19th season of playing with me or for me. There's a couple of them that aren't that far behind, so that continuity has really established some great relationships, which have been very meaningful to me and my family. The other thing that sustained me, without question, has been my faith in Christ. We've always been a faith-driven family, and I can't imagine having been able to go through the past couple of years without a faith to sustain me. Cancer will probe and find your soft spots. We all got them. This disease will find them. And I know that people somehow go through it who don't have a faith. I don't know how. And that's been such an important part of my life, in knowing that my salvation is assured because of my faith in Christ. And I'm not an evangelist. That's not my role. But if you are a Christian, I would encourage you to consider whether or not that is as meaningful a part of your life as it should be. And if you're not a Christian, maybe now's a decent time to think about it. The third thing that sustained me is my wife, Lori. One of the biggest reasons that I'm able to coach is because she goes so far to take so much off my plate that I'm able to kind of point my energy in baseball's direction. Her love and support has been amazing. And I knew for a long time that I was able to marry the love of my life. But it wasn't until the past couple of years that I understood that I was also able to marry one of my heroes. And so thank you for everything that you have given me. fellas, while I'm thinking about it, one of the most important decisions that you guys will make is deciding who to marry. Make sure that the person you choose is the kind of person who will stand by you during tough times the way Miss Lori has stood by me. And I guess lastly, my hope and my kind of wish for everybody is that you're able to live life like you have cancer without, of course, ever having to actually have cancer. Because if you're anything like me, or like I was before I got diagnosed, we spend an amazing amount of time stressing and worrying about things that really don't matter. That guy that cut you off on the freeway, or the person that cut in front of you in the grocery line. And so that is certainly one of my words of wisdom, so to speak. Maybe it's not that wise. So anyway, again, thank you very much for this award, and thank you for listening to what I had to say. Thank you.